Prepare a protective surface to place all vehicle components on. Apply the parking brake. Open the trunk and hood of the vehicle. Disconnect the negative battery cable. Radio removal. Make sure you have a protective blanket over the center stack transmission area. Remove radio trim panel by loosening outer edge using plastic panel tool or by hand. Disengage snaps by pulling towards you. Use a 10mm socket to remove the 4 bolts securing the radio. All radio connectors have a locking tab that you must push down to disconnect. Carefully remove each connector, then set the radio aside. Quick sync wiring harness installation. Remove driver and passenger side threshold panel. Disengage both ends of the threshold panel by spreading the edges. Carefully pull straight up to remove. Repeat for the other side. Remove the driver side kick panel. Use a plastic panel tool to remove the snap. Carefully pull the kick panel to the right, towards the pedals. Check for green snaps that may not have come off with the kick panel. Reinsert the green snaps to the kick panel if necessary. Remove driver and passenger side rear panels. Loosen weather stripping by hand and remove carefully in an outward direction. Use a 10mm socket to remove the bolt securing the bottom seat cushion. Push down on the center of the back side of the cushion to release the locking tab, then remove the bottom seat cushion. Use a plastic panel tool to remove the push-in snap at the bottom of the rear panel. Located in the trunk area, pull both back rest release straps to fold the back rest down. Use a plastic panel tool and remove the 2 push-in snaps at the rear of the panel. Carefully disengage the snaps one by one and remove the rear panel towards you and away to remove. Check the panel for missing snaps that may still be attached to the vehicle. Repeat these steps for the other side of the vehicle. Remove the trunk carpet and trunk floorboard. Use a plastic panel tool to remove the push-in snaps and remove side panels on both sides of the trunk for ease of access to mounting locations. Disconnecting trunk opener switch is necessary on the driver's side to remove the panel. Locate the 2-hole bracket on both sides of the vehicle. Use pliers to flat out the bracket behind the 2-hole bracket. Install and position the M8 speed clip so it aligns with the top hole on the 2-hole bracket. Install the smaller size M6 speed nut on the rear mounting hole of both the driver and passenger side. Repeat this process on both sides of the vehicle. Use a plastic panel tool to remove the 3 push-in snaps securing the foam support between the back seat and the spare tire. Use a plastic panel tool and remove the push-in snap on the top of the factory amplifier. Lift the foam support up and fold it over so it rests on top of the rear seat backrest. Disconnect the 10-pin factory amp connector and remove the 3 10mm nuts holding the factory amplifier into position. Disconnect the factory amplifier bundle by disengaging the locking tab underneath the factory amplifier. Remove the adjacent factory wiring clip on the frame of the vehicle beneath where the factory amplifier previously sat. Prep surface of OEM Audio Plus amplifier assembly mounting location with rubbing alcohol to remove any grease. Thread 10mm nut 3/4 of the way on the factory front driver's side mounting bolt. Remove the backing from the Velcro strip on the OEM Audio Plus amplifier assembly. Position the OEM Audio Plus assembly mounting arm under the 3/4 thread 10mm nut and trunk floor. Press amplifier down, aligning all mounting locations and applying provided Velcro strip. Reinstall and tighten the 3 10mm amplifier nuts. Route the power wire and radio connectors of the quick sync wiring harness towards the front driver's side of the vehicle. You will be left with the white and gray amplifier connectors, 2 black sub-amplifier connectors, and 2 ground terminal leads in the trunk area. Separate the passenger side ground terminal and sub-amplifier connectors to the passenger side of the trunk. Position the driver's side sub-amplifier connector towards the driver's side rear of the trunk and route the driver's side ground towards the front of the vehicle. Plug the white 22-pin connector to the front receptacle and the gray 22-pin connector to the rear receptacle of the DSP amplifier. Make sure all connectors are fully inserted and securely locked. Connect the factory 10-pin male amp connector to the female connector from the quick sync wiring harness. Factory 6-pin connector remains unplugged. Secure all factory wiring and amplifier location together using cable ties. Using the factory ground located behind the rear passenger side trim panel, remove the 10mm ground bolt and install the harness ground together with the factory ground. Reinstall the 10mm bolt. Run the ground wire with existing factory wire and secure using provided cable ties. Secure the passenger side harness, ground and sub-umbilical, to the factory wiring under the trunk foam support. Assure that both the sub-umbilical connectors are positioned in their designated location, and reinstall foam support, trunk floorboard, and carpet. Remove the push and snap from the carpet that formerly snapped into the factory amplifier. Reinstall the trunk side panels and locking clips. Reconnect driver side trunk opener switch. Ensure sub-umbilical connectors are accessible on both sides, hanging over the provided top channel on the trunk side panels. Using the factory ground located beneath the driver's side rear speaker mounting location, remove the 10mm bolt and install the two passenger side harness grounds together with the factory ground. Reinstall the 10mm bolt. Rear speaker installation. Disconnect the rear speaker connector. Remove the two number 2 Phillips screws holding the factory rear speaker in place and remove the speaker. Mount the 4-inch OEM Audio Plus rear speaker by using the two number 2 Phillips screws and reinstall rear speaker connector. Quick sync wire and harness installation continued. Continue to route the quick sync harness towards the driver's side of the vehicle and secure to existing factory wires using provided cable ties. Reinstall driver and passenger side trim panels and rear seat cushions. Lift carpet by disengaging the white clips in the driver's side threshold area and continue routing the harness underneath the carpet towards the driver's side kick panel area. Reinstall carpet clips and weather stripping. Route the quick sync wiring harness under the driver's side dash and towards the radio cavity. The yellow power cables must remain separate in the driver's side kick panel for now. Secure the harness to the existing gray factory wires using cable ties. Route the quick sync wiring harness towards the radio cavity until connectors are visible. Connect the quick sync wiring harness to the factory harness and radio, 10-pin and 6-pin connectors. Make sure they are fully inserted and securely locked in place. Reinstall the radio and trim panel. Power wire installation. Locate the factory wiring harness grommet on the driver's side of the engine bay adjacent to the brake master cylinder. Cut off the tip of the grommet nipple. Return to the driver's side under the dashboard and route the two yellow power wires through the factory grommet. Lubricate accordingly to prevent binding. Run the entire length of the power wire, then pull it back 1 inch and apply a bead of silicone sealant to the wire. Push the wire through with the silicone to seal the opening. Install the 1/4 inch corrugated split loom onto the power wires. Run the entire length to the firewall grommet. Route the loomed power wires across the engine bay towards the battery. Run the power wires directly underneath the windshield wiper assembly. Secure to existing factory wire using cable ties. Section 7. Fuse holder assembly installation. Remove the 12mm top nut from the battery's positive terminal and install fuse holder ring terminal. Reinstall the 12mm nut and tighten. Do not install fuses at this time. Insert 12-gauge power wire into yellow butt connector. Install 14-gauge power wire into blue butt connector. Crimp and apply heat to both butt connectors to activate the solder and heat shrink insulator for the best connection possible. Sub installation. Amplifier connection. Plug the black 10-pin connector into the receptacle on the sub-amplifier located on top of your sub-enclosure. Make sure all connectors are fully inserted. Subwoofer installation. Place the subwoofer enclosure in position and install the M6 washer and bolt on the backside to secure the enclosure. Shifting the enclosure may be necessary to align the holes. Do not fully tighten yet. Install the M8 washer and bolt on the front side of the enclosure. Once subwoofer enclosure is aligned, secure by tightening both mounting bolts. Repeat for the other side. When positioning subwoofer in trunk area, take care not to scuff or scrape the top of your sub on the trunk frame. Dash speaker installation. Remove dash speaker grills. Very carefully disengage the speaker grill on the dashboard using a plastic panel or pick tool. Once loosened, lift straight up and away to remove. Disconnect the tweeter connector, then unclip the tweeter from the speaker grill by pushing away one of the locking tabs. With the speaker grill outside of the vehicle, identify the rear inside locking tooth. Extend the depth of this tooth by cutting across 1/4 of an inch below the existing depth. Do not exceed the cut further than the existing vertical shape. Cut down, meeting your first cut to complete the right angle. This will allow your speaker grill to rest flush when reinstalled with the depth of your new OEM Audio Plus 4-inch dash speaker. Remove the two 10mm bolts holding the factory dash speaker in place. Remove the factory mounting hardware from the speaker location. Install the provided M5 speed clips to speaker mounting location. Position the 4-inch OEM Audio Plus speaker and reinstall dash speaker connector. Mount the 4-inch OEM Audio Plus dash speaker by using the two M5 bolts. Hand tighten to ensure no binding, then tighten completely with a 10mm wrench. Remove the OEM Audio Plus tweeter from its packaging and carefully apply pressure to the tweeter foam gasket and push outwards prior to installation. Connect the tweeter connector and make sure it is secure with built-in locking tab. Install the OEM Audio Plus tweeter in the same orientation as the factory tweeter by aligning it with the locking tabs. Make sure it snaps into place. Reinstall the speaker grill by sliding the back end first. Push the front side of the speaker grill straight down until it snaps back into place. Repeat these steps for the other side of the vehicle. Front woofer installation. Door disassembly. Using a panel or pick tool, disengage door locking tab. Remove the small screw cover behind the interior door latch. It is best to remove and set aside to avoid it falling off or being misplaced. Remove the number 2 Phillips screw behind the door latch. Remove the silver trim from the grab handle. Tool insertion slot is located at the bottom of the trim. Remove the two number 2 Phillips screws securing the grab handle in place. Using your hand or panel tool, disengage the clips behind the door panel one at a time. Start at the bottom, then at the sides, and finish at the top. Use gentle force to remove door panel. Disconnect window door lock control connectors from the door panel. Remove door latch assembly from the door panel by unsnapping and lifting the latch connectors. Connectors need to be reassembled in the same orientation, white on top, green on bottom. Disconnect the 6.5 factory speaker connector and remove the 3 number 2 Phillips screws holding the factory 6.5 speaker in place and remove the speaker. Mount the 6.5-inch OEM Audio Plus speaker by using the 3 number 2 Phillips screws and reinstall the 6.5 speaker connector. Reassemble door in reverse order, taking time to ensure all clips are engaged. Failure to securely reinstall door panel may result in rattles. Fuse installation. Insert your 20A fuse for the 14 gauge power wire. Your 14 gauge is your thinner wire, and the 30A fuse for the 12 gauge power wire. Connect negative battery cable to return power to the vehicle. This concludes the OEM Audio Plus SL series installation.